Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Glowing with Talia. I'm your host, Talia Matz, and today I sat down with my gorgeous friend and incredibly smart yoga teacher, Heather Acomb. She is an incredible, incredible woman. You will see. Just wait till you hear our conversation. But I want to invite you to, as you listen, to just see what resonates. And whatever resonates, I encourage you to keep digging and follow that kernel of curiosity and do your own research or ask another question that might spark you to go down a path that you would have never gone down if you weren't curious in the first place. So stay curious, my friends, stay open, and let's get into the episode. My intention today is for listeners to hear some of the magic wisdom that I got to experience when I was in your yoga class a few years ago. And I also want to give you the opportunity to just share what's on your heart right now, what you want people in the world out there to hear from you. And so I
Mm,
have some questions.
great.
Let's start by just introducing who you are and how we know each other. So
Okay.
Heather is a yoga teacher, she's a mom. You can also add on to that list when if you want. But I
Yeah.
met Heather a few years ago. She was teaching a yoga class at a university. And it was the best yoga class I have ever taken in my entire life to this day. Now, I don't do a lot of yoga classes because you set the bar really high. And now when I go out and take a yoga class, what is this? But part
Fitness.
of that was because we were in this university setting where there were readings to do. So we were learning yoga. I was learning yoga not as just the asanas as you do when you go to a yoga class at a regular studio. I was learning the philosophy and different parts of Ayurveda and some of the history too, which was
Yeah.
really for me important. And I was reflecting on some questions I want to ask you today, and I was remembering the main takeaways that I had from your class. And so I want to bring back those and see
Great.
what you have to
Great.
say. But um
Great.
yeah, yeah. I'm really excited that you're here. Really excited that you're here.
Too. Me too. Me too.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, so one of the first things that I remember from your class, I'll give you some of the main takeaways. I remember how much you lit up when we were talking about Bhakti yoga. And so, of course, that was a takeaway for me. Will you give a little background or explanation on what Bhakti yoga is and why it's
Yeah.
so important to you?
Bhakti is the yoga of the heart. There are many paths of yoga, right? You could be a bhakti yogi, you could be a jnana yogi, you could be a hatha yogi, and people that go to their mat, their weekly class on their mat, that's like hatha yoga. Those are the postures. Bhakti is the yoga of devotion, like divine devotion, viewing everything and everyone from the lens of love, from the eyes of love. And that, when you said, what do we need? We need bhakti. We need more people to be introduced to the path of bhakti right now because I know it sounds so crunchy, but I love really does overcome hate. Love will win in the end. It all comes down to love and compassion. And yeah, just offering bhakti practices of bhakti look like prayer, meditation, offerings of many kinds, um, chanting for people that like chanting or singing, um, and it's all done with this intention to like to God and from God. And I say the word God, and that can be so triggering to some people, especially like I grew up Christian family, went, Catholic church, went to church school every Wednesday afternoon growing up. And so my husband has a really strong Catholic background, and neither of us are practicing Catholics anymore. So I get it. I know for some people, God is like a real trigger word. And we're living in a place of like white Christian nationalism now, which is so icky. the emergence of it in our culture. And I
Mhm.
don't mean to get, overly political or anything like that, but I just think God can be triggering. Okay, so God can be great spirit. It can be the divine. It can be the light in your own heart. I mean, you insert whatever makes sense for you for God. But that, yeah, that's bhakti. That's the path of bhakti is living and seeing everything through the eyes of love and offering it um, to God, for God. It comes from God, it goes to God, and it's just love, 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 love. And I love the path of bhakti. I love contemplating it. And there's a great book, actually, if people want to learn more about bhakti. The book is called Exquisite Love, and it's written by Bill Mahoney. Bill is my main yoga philosophy teacher. I've been studying with him. 2015 was the first time I started studying yoga philosophy. So it's been a good 10 years. And really mainly with Bill because he's brilliant. Look him up. Anyone that's listening or watching, look up Bill Mahoney. He's so cool. Um, Anyway, Exquisite Love is a really beautiful unpacking of the path of bhakti for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I do light up when I
Yes.
teach bhakti. I love teaching bhakti because how beautiful is it I remember that in your class and we were like coming up with songs, like what are some pop culture songs that are connecting us to the heart and I remember that with your class. It was so great. It was so
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, it's so,
Yeah.
so beautiful. And when you're talking about um to God, from God, the just you were doing some like motions like this, and it was reminding me of channeling and really the
Yeah.
intention to be just a channel of love, divine love out in the world. And I agree, that is definitely what we need more of,
Oh, yeah. We
always.
need to get egos gone.
Okay,
People
yeah,
need,
so tell us, what is the ego? What do you,
well,
when you think of the
it's
ego,
who
what
we
is it
think
for
we
you?
are. It's who we think we are. I'm this assistant professor of dance at SUNY Brockport in the dance department, and I'm a wellness person, and I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm a mom, and I live in New York State, and I'm a feminist, and so I have all these really like big ideas and thoughts about what's going on in the world right now, right? And I'm going to raise my daughter a really specific way because she's got to be a really specific way because I don't want her to be something that I don't want her to be. There's just like who we think we are and how we think things should be. Um, yeah, that just clouds everything that gets in the way. And
Mm,
I'm not saying I don't have one. It comes, but it's like when it's, oh, okay, this is me talking from my ego, talking from a place of judgment, talking from a place of whatever.
mm,
It's like if we can just acknowledge it. Oh, hey there. Hey, there you are. Okay. Step
mm,
aside, please. Right? Yeah.
So that's a
Easier
signal
said than
when
done.
when you start to notice that you're judging or that you're in judgment, that's your egos. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably your ego talking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm better than this. I'm not going to do this because of this reason, or, this
Right. Or
person
the other
is,
way
well, what
of
do you mean?
putting yourself down as inferior.
Oh,
That be ego too?
totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, the ego is really just like who we think we are. And that has positives and negatives, right?
Mhm.
It can be very much about like I'm a nobody. I don't I'm unwell. My mental health sucks. I'm depressed. I'm down, 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 down. All of that is just the who we think we are. Part of that too is the mind, the layers of the self. And I know in your class we talked about the koshas too, the different layers of the self, and the manomaya kosha is the mind layer, and that's the overthinking, the thoughts that just don't disappear. The ego lives there too, I think, in the manomaya kosha, just the constant thoughts that don't shut down. And if we never get beneath that, if we never get past that, then we don't give ourselves an opportunity to open to the heart, to open to the true self, to open to other people's hearts, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
What do you do
practice.
with that?
That's why it's yoga practice, right? It's why you're on the path of yoga. That's why so many people say it's about the journey. It's not about the destination, right? That's a very like common type of phrase. But it's like it's almost like you never really get there, but we're always on the path to the heart, the
Mm-hmm.
heart, the heart, the heart, the heart. I'm on the way to the heart. I'm on the way to the heart, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking for people who maybe aren't on like this path of yoga, but are like interested in these kinds of concepts or following their heart more, at least just like recognizing when they're in their mind and getting in their own way with their thoughts. Where could somebody start? Is it going to the mat or is it like like where, yeah, where could somebody
I think I have so many thoughts about how our Western culture has really bastardized yoga, and I think we really have. Most people have. I think there's a renaissance happening, and there's a shift. There's like a big paradigm shift happening, and people really are waking. I see so much stuff online now about learning about yoga philosophy, understanding the roots of yoga. Um, that yoga is not this fitness thing where you get really stretchy and bendy and strong and you can do a handstand and a headstand and it's so much more than that. But I will say, look at how many people have come to their mat in our Western culture. So, and that was my inroad. That's most people's inroad. It's like, yeah, I want to do yoga. I want to like breathe and be with my body. And you can't really understand the fullness of it until you're in it. And so you get on your mat, you go to class, and suddenly you're like, gosh, I feel better after I do these sun salutations. Gosh, I feel better after Shavasana when I just rest quietly for 5 minutes. Gosh, I feel better coordinating the movement of my body with the movement of my breath. And slowly, 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 it starts to unlock, and you start to understand that it is so much more. It's a lifestyle. It is an endless path. Like, I mean, that's people that consider themselves seekers on the path of yoga use that phrase, on the path of yoga. I'm on the path. I'm on, and it's never ending. You don't really ever get to the destination. Some people do. Um, but you start on your mat, you start on your mat, you start on your mat. That's where you start. You, Talia, and all of your classmates were so lucky because in a university setting, it can be so much more. You're getting 2 or 3 credits for this course. We better do some readings and do some journal reflections and have some conversation that you don't get to do in a 1 hour studio class because that's just not how it is. So we can trickle in the Dharma talks and the yoga philosophy and the breath work. And I can require you to write a journal and reflect on your experience. And so that does make room for just so much more, so much more. Yeah, I wonder how all those athletes are doing now. I did a lot of athletes, basketball or baseball players and football players in the classes.
Mhm. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you start on your mat. You just start on your mat. You got
Mhm.
to start somewhere.
Totally, totally. Yeah. I want to ask you about well, I have three questions coming to mind, so I'm going to just pick one. I want to ask you about how you found yoga, and I know that you were a dancer before, so maybe you want to touch on what dance was for you and maybe how it like through yoga that's transformed. I'm curious about all of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a dancer. I teach full time in the dance department at SUNY Brockport. That's why I left U of R actually,
Mhm.
because I very unexpectedly got this full-time gig in Brockport. And it was totally meant to be. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't want it. I have my daughter. I was really thinking I'm just going to be fully stay at home. We might even homeschool. And
Mhm.
I still actually might homeschool her. because I just think she's really smart and curious and adventurous and wouldn't do well sitting in a classroom for 7 hours a day.
Mhm.
Um, but that's a side comment. When I was in undergrad at SUNY Geneseo, I took Intro to Dance because that was one of the first required courses for the dance minors to take Introduction to Dance. And my dance teacher for that class was Jackie McCausland, who owned the yoga studio in town in Geneseo. And um, Jackie is still my yoga teacher. I mean, Shakti Yoga is my home studio, and I pretty much exclusively train with Jackie and Angela still, or teachers that they bring into their studio or that are a part of their lineage. Um, I Anyway, I was in Jackie's class. She did a little yoga unit in our dance intro to dance class, and I immediately was like, "Oh, this is cool." Um, and while I was a student, I started teaching children's dance on the weekends at the studio. And part of the trade was that you could take a yoga class. You could for free, like teach the
Mhm.
children's yoga and take the free. I mean, you could get paid or and take free yoga class. So I started taking Jackie's Saturday morning class, 10 a.m. class, and I just kept going back, kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. I mean, this was 2002, right? That I was like slowly in and out there. And then I went to grad school. And then I started to think about yoga a lot more in terms of like cross training for dance. Now I don't use that term. I consider yoga to be complementary training for dance. Cross training feels really a lot more like running, swimming, going to the gym, lifting weights. That feels like true cross training for dance. I think yoga as complementary training now, but yeah, so when I was in grad school though, I thought, "Oh, this is good cross training for dance and I'm going to keep doing it, keep doing it." And then I sort of trickled away from it a little bit when I was dancing and touring and teaching with the Bill Evans Dance Company after I graduated from Brockport. I spent about 4 years with the Bill Evans Dance Company, and I still work with Bill every summer. Um, we just had a really like intense 4 years of touring his work and teaching his work all around the country. And you can look up Bill Evans if you want to. He's internationally acclaimed choreographer, educator. So I spent a lot of time with Bill, and I was in my own body, taking care of myself in my own way with my own practice. And then I decided to move to Hawaii after that, um, for other reasons, lots of other life things that just sort of you never know when the pivot is going to come. It just comes, and then suddenly you're like, guess I'm moving to Hawaii. And I went to Hawaii in 2012 and spent some time out there, and I took classes out there. It was very popular. I was living in a town called Pahoa, and if people that are listening know the Big Island and know Puna, Puna's got a lot of like dirty hippies, a lot of people that want to practice yoga. And so I came back to it there.
Mm.
And when I moved back 2 years later, I was working at a golf course, and Jackie used to come in with her family to eat lunch. And she said, why don't you just think about doing our 200-hour teacher training that's coming up in the fall? And I was like, oh, really? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. And she just gently, quietly planted the seed that you should think about it. Just think about it. And she left it. And then I kept thinking about it that whole summer. Oh, yeah, okay, 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 okay. And then I signed up for it. And in 2015, I did my first 200 hour. And that was it at that point. I was like, well, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life. You just sort of know it, right place, right time, right people. And yeah, I feel like the seed was actually planted when I was in her class as a sophomore. Like I truly do believe there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. I was supposed to be in her class in 2002 when I was a sophomore at SUNY Geneseo. And just love thinking about that. Just love thinking about that. I just recently took a workshop at Shakti, and it fills my heart to be in that space with those teachers. Jackie and Angela are rare gems. They are rare gems. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky. They were doing yoga before people were doing yoga. I don't know how old they are now, 70 something. Um, Maybe they're 70. I don't know, but they've been yogis since before it was a trend to be a yogi. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they've lived in ashrams. They went to India just to like go to India in the 80s and 90s, just because that's what people were doing. Um, yeah, so yeah, I'm lucky with those teachers.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I can feel how much luck you feel that you got to have those
Yeah,
teachers. And
yeah,
I feel that way about the teachers that I've had. And there's this
cool.
quote that I think of that you can't repay a teacher in 1,000 lifetimes because there's just the gift of what you get when you're a student to a really
Yeah,
good teacher is invaluable. And now
yeah,
you're a teacher as well. And I'm sure you have students who feel that way about you, me being one of them years ago for just a semester.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm curious what your like path to teaching has been or taking on that as part of your identity. Maybe it's part of your ego identity, but also like there's a lot of respect and responsibility that you have when you're in that role. And I'm curious
Oh,
how you've
yes. Oh, yes.
taken that
Yeah,
on. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I believe that teaching is a path of service. So I know that about myself. I feel like I am here in this lifetime to serve through teaching. I also think something that, not to be fluffing my feathers, but something that does continue to support my teaching. And one reason why I am such a good teacher, I know that I'm a good teacher. I know that I'm a transformative teacher. I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I've never questioned it, teaching. It's because I'm like the ultimate student. I keep wanting to be a student. So I never take myself out of the mindset of being a student, even when I'm in the seat of the teacher.
Hmm.
And I'm certain that that supports me. But, it was when I was in grad school that I met Bill Evans, who was one of our teachers at SUNY Brockport at the time. He is, a, I mean, has won Lifetime Achievement Awards for his work in teaching. He's brilliant, brilliant educator. And so it was just being his student and being in his classes and watching the way he taught his students and the way he connected to students, um, the way he saw something in me. I mean, I am a nobody. I was a nobody, and I don't even think I was that good of a dancer when I started. But I loved dancing. And Bill took me under his wing and he saw something in me. He believed in me and he wanted to mentor me. And so it was through being Bill's student and starting to take his summer workshops when I was in grad school. And it was in that time that I thought, oh yeah, I think I could do this. I think I could also try teaching. And I just I work with Bill every summer. I am still Bill's student, right? I go to workshops with Jackie and Angela. I am still their student. So I'm constantly feeding my student self and my teacher self by being a student, and it keeps me in the path of being a teacher. I honestly couldn't, and again, that's there are no coincidences. I only applied to SUNY Brockport. I didn't apply anywhere else for grad school. Um, I don't know why. I mean, I knew Bill Evans was there. I knew my sister was in undergrad at Brockport. I knew that it was close enough that I could commute back and forth from home. My brother, when I started grad school, my brother was he 5? I can't remember. He was so young. I was a teenager when he was born. So I wanted to have a relationship with my brother, so I didn't want to go far away. So for me, I was like, oh, Brockport. I'll just apply to Brockport. And I got in. Of course, I got in. I was meant to go. I was meant to work with Bill because I still teach his work now. I still work with him every summer. And his way of teaching, his pedagogy, his methods have really influenced me as a human and as a teacher. I love sparking conversation with the people in the room. I never want it to be like I'm the teacher and you the student and I'm going to say everything that you have and you have to listen. And I got that from Bill. It's like let's teach and learn together and meet each other halfway. And yeah, I don't know if that fully answered the question, but that's kind of how I fell into teaching and how I stay where I am now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you said. Well, a lot of things that you said, but I love what you said about how you know that you're a good teacher because you're a devoted student too. And it's so true. And it even makes me think back to like the Bhakti, the path of the heart, and how it just like the giving and receiving kind of feeds that steadiness on the path. Yeah.
Yes. There has to be a balance,
Hmm.
giving and receiving, inpouring, outpouring. Yeah. They're
That's
inner, outer. There has to be a balance.
hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know so many people who are such excellent, knowledgeable students who have so much wisdom to share with the world that people would just eat up. People would just eat up.
Yeah.
And I know some of these people, some of them are my classmates who um don't feel confident or maybe like not experienced enough or like they have enough training or like they even have enough to teach yet or to
Mm.
claim that role and that title. And I'm curious what you would say to somebody who's in that position who doesn't feel like they have enough or like they need more training or like just not trusting their voice and not trusting that they're ready to like step into that role.
You said what I was just gonna say. It's about learning how to trust your voice, learning how to trust and know that you do have something valuable to say. Can be really scary. Can be really scary, especially because we live in a very gosh, I mean, sometimes I read comments online, people post things, and people are so mean to each other. I mean, they are so mean. People are so mean to each other. We just had one of the local high schools here. The students organized a protest, and it made it onto the news. And I commented, so proud of these young people for using their voice.
Mm.
That's what I said. I'm proud of them for using their voice. I got so much hate from strangers that don't even know me commenting. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. So it's scary. It's scary to trust and use your voice, but
Hmm.
just like where do I start with yoga? You get on the mat. Where do you start with teaching? You just start, you just start somewhere. There's a really great Pema Chodron quote. I'll look for it and send it to you, but it's something like that. Just start. Start with hands trembling, start with uncertainty. Do you know it? Have you heard of this? You're nodding.
Something
It's
along
like
the lines,
start,
yeah.
just start, just start. Yeah. Start
Yeah.
with uncertainty, start with your hands trembling. Start if you don't know the answer, just start.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Just start. Just
Mhm.
start. Yeah,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people that there are a lot of people that have really beautiful things to say that this world could benefit from listening to. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. I just want to encourage if somebody's listening right now and that hit home for you, that you
Mm,
need to just start to just
yeah.
start. Just start with
Yeah.
exactly where you are, exactly what you have. Just start, even
Yeah.
if it's going and talking to a stranger and sharing that message on your heart.
Agreed.
Have you heard about my program, Start to Finish, that's starting at the end of this month? Have you heard of it? Well, now you have. And now that you have, I want to tell you a little bit more, and I want you to reach out to me if you feel like it's right for you. Okay, so in these 12 weeks, we're going to be going through my framework of getting you really clear, really focused, really dialed in, and balanced, right? There's a way that your energy sometimes, and you don't know what exactly it is that you want to do. You're working on a million different things, or you're working towards something, but you feel like you're not really getting anywhere with it because you need a channel, right? You need a container to really channel your energy to. So, in start to finish, these 12 weeks, we'll be meeting every week in the group to do live coaching, to walk through different techniques and processes that are going to keep you on track with what you need to be doing and that are going to get you out of your own way. It's going to really work on those core blocks that we all have that keep you from stepping up and trusting yourself and into your power, and that keep you giving your power away, stuck in this anxiety loop, and keep you from doing what it is you know you're here to do that's going to serve the collective and also serve you in a really fulfilling and beautiful way. So if you're interested in that process, send me an email or go to my website. It'll all be in the description below, and I would love to hear from you. I'd love to chat and see if it's right for you. Back to the episode. Intuition, how it's guided you throughout your life, what your relationship is to it.
Um, oh gosh, I was trying to think of a word that wasn't the T word because we've already used trust so many times in this
You
interview.
know
But
what, Heather? I love that it's trust because yesterday, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yesterday I was
no,
just talking to my mentor and we were saying, okay, you know what? My word needs to be for the rest of the month, trust. And here we are talking.
honestly, I I you know, I have just always trusted. Maybe that's because I'm a Taurus. I'm an earth element. I'm a bull. I'm grounded. I'm rooted.
Mm.
And I do think I really am. So I trust that the next thing will come. And it always has come. If I reflect back and track it forward, I shared with you, I only applied to Brockport for grad school. I got in, I went to Brockport. I met Bill Evans. I danced professionally with Bill Evans. And then when that came to an end by my choice, I applied for a job and I didn't get the job. And I was like, okay, well, it's time for something different. And it was a job I really thought that was mine, and I didn't get it. But that's when I moved to Hawaii. And thank God I went to Hawaii because I met my husband out there in Hawaii. And so if I hadn't gone out there, I never would have met Evan. And so I think about that all the time. And
Mm.
then right, coming back, getting the job at the golf course ended up being like the best 4 summers. Anybody that has never worked on a golf course, do it. I was 30. Like, I was a full adult 30-year-old working at this golf course and loved it so much. Loved my time there. Still have a very dear friend that we worked together. But being there, Jackie came in for lunch, told me to take the teacher training. The next thing came, you know what I mean? And then Bill moved and Brockport called me and they were like, "Can you come teach a couple classes because Bill moved?" And then the next thing that like 2 years after that, a full-time opportunity at Wells College came up and I just like the things just
Mm.
keep coming because something always has to happen. Something will
I
happen
love
because it
that.
just has to. It just has to. It it will. It does. I even on a tiny level, every semester I like start to panic thinking about childcare for Vesta because we don't do daycare. We don't pay for childcare is just ridiculous expensive where I live. And I also, and this sounds terrible, but in many ways, like I don't fully trust that the system, that the institution will fully support my little P the way she needs to be supported. And I think I have a sensory sensitive kiddo. And so I'm just very hesitant to put her in some like structured, organized daycare setting. But I panic every semester. What am I going to do? Like, and somehow between my mom and my sister and me and my husband, like somebody's always available to watch Vesta. And it always works out. Everything just, so if we can get out of our own way, if we can get out of our own way and know that something will happen because it has to happen, the next thing will come. Uh, it frees us up from freaking out. It frees us up from freaking out. And it allows us to be fully present in our experience of human life, however it's unfolding. Um, yeah, it sounds like such a cliche cop out trust, but like really, 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 there is something to that. There is something to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens when you're not in that trusting? I mean, your mind is going
Oh
nuts.
my God. It's all
Things,
over the place. You're
yeah,
freaking out, you're panicking, and then you have all this anxiety, and then maybe you're having panic attacks, and then you're not eating, and then you're not sleeping. And yeah, this
right.
downward spiral, mental health goes out the window, and panicking about money. And yeah, that's just so. And I'm not saying, oh, don't, I'm not trying to be spiritual bypassy about it either, because I recognize that we are humans having a human experience. And sometimes we have anxiety and panic attacks, and we can't pay our bills, and we aren't making enough money, and we don't know if we can get our car fixed to go to work by tomorrow. Like, I get 100% like those things are real. Um, I
Mm,
just mean on the bigger picture, if we can turn to trust, and maybe that's because of faith. Maybe that's, there's the G word coming back again, right? Like God, Great Spirit, Universe, Divine Mother, whatever you want to insert. Um, there's that faith that there's something greater that
mm,
is supporting us, that is supporting me, that I am just a tiny drop, a tiny pebble, one grain of sand in the full, I am a tiny microcosm of the macrocosm. And if we can just remember that and situate ourselves a little bit differently in that, yeah, we can learn to trust our intuition a
mhm,
little bit more fully.
mm, mhm,
Everyone's got it. I'm sure of that. I'm certain everyone's got an intuition that they could trust and follow, but other things get in the way, fear.
mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'm thinking of something that I really like to use for, and especially for people who maybe aren't spiritual or believe in God or can conceptualize in that way. Like even just your future self who doesn't have this problem that you currently have. Like having a tether to anything that can bring some sort of peace, some sort of relaxation in those moments when you are freaking out about something that's a real thing,
Yeah,
but the freak out doesn't need to happen. That is
exactly.
helpful. Yeah. Mm,
Exactly.
mhm.
This too shall pass is something that my mom always says, and I hate it.
Because your mom says
And
it? Oh.
she does. This too shall pass. And I hate it, but it also holds a lot of truth, doesn't it?
Mhm,
This too shall pass. She
mhm,
says it about our current administration. And I really, again, I'm like not trying to be political, but
mhm.
sometimes she says it and I'm like, it's just, yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And there is truth that our future self is not this self.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Wow, what a beautiful conversation.
Oh
I'm
my
so glad
gosh.
you're here.
There's so much more to say.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so much more to say.
Mhm.
I don't even know what all the things are. I just know that there's got to be more.
Yeah, let's see. Is there anything that's coming up to your mind that you want to speak to right now?
Yeah. No. I mean, yes and no, but let's close on trust because I think that's it.
Mhm.
I think that's it.
Mhm. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you so, so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Talia. I'm so glad you're doing this. I'm so glad I mean, you're creating an opportunity to bring people together, to have conversation, to put words out there. Words matter, right? And so we're like speaking these words and they're going out and those vibrations are going out and people are listening and taking them in. And that's important too, like that's part of the greater how we heal all of this. We keep connecting with each other and having these kinds of great conversation with
Yeah.
each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree that it's so important. It's so
Yeah.
important what we say to each other, how we treat each
Yeah.
other, and that we continue doing this even when it feels like, okay, we're just having a conversation. I know
Totally.
that it matters. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're so
Thank you, thank
welcome.
you, thank you, thank you. Where
You're
can
so
people,
welcome.
yeah, where can people find you, Heather, if they have
So
questions?
I do have a website, heatheracomb.com, and I'm on Instagram at Heather Acomb, and I'm on Facebook as Heather Acomb Nourishing Life. It's a business page. I work very part-time as a postpartum doula. I mean, we didn't even talk about that way of healing the world, but uh,
You'll have to come
um,
back then.
yeah, we can talk about the perinatal year. We can talk about the postpartum time and how we're like one of the only cultures in the world that doesn't fully support postpartum mothers. Um, so I work a little bit as a postpartum doula. And anyway, that's why my Facebook page is a business page and not a personal page. Heather Acomb Nourishing Life there. But I teach dance at SUNY Brockport. And if anybody out there is a contemporary modern dancer and wants to pop in and take a class, come find me in Brockport. And I teach yoga here in Rochester at Yoga 170, right in Fairport on the Canal. Every Monday night I'm there. Um, so you can find me there. Pregnant people can find me on Tuesday nights at Frequency Wellness Space in Rochester. I teach prenatal yoga with one of Rochester's most beloved birth doulas, Molly Dutchbein. She was my birth doula, and she's an incredible colleague and partner with our prenatal work. So if you're local, if you're in Rochester, you can find me there. Otherwise, I guess find me in the unsocial media land.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end the
Thank
recording.
you, Talia. Yes, thank you so much.
I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed listening to today's interview with Heather. Again, if you want to find her, please go find her on Instagram, on Facebook, at her business. Right now, she is running a teacher training for perinatal and pregnant yoga teacher training. So that's awesome. If you're local to Rochester or Brockport, check that out. If you want to dance in one of her dance classes, you're welcome to reach out to her too. She's an incredible teacher and I can't recommend her enough. So go find her. She also just came out with an article today. She didn't tell me this until the very end of our conversation, but she just came out with an article, or no, the journal that she published her article in just came out today. So I will link that down below if you want to read it. It's something about the somatic practices and using dance to heal. So very interesting, very up your alley if you're interested in somatics or dance. And I can't wait to read it myself. So I will have Heather back on and we'll talk more about prenatal, postpartum. Enjoy the day. I hope you smile. I hope you breathe. And send this to somebody who you think would appreciate this. And remember to follow the podcast, remember to rate the show, and you can always leave a comment or reach out to me at my email that I'll put in the description too if you want to give me some feedback. The other thing is that I'm doing my 12-week start to finish program where you come in with something that you want to work on or some block that you think you have, and we clear it out. We get you really clear and really dialed in and really consistent, building that momentum towards that goal, whatever it is for you. And we start that process off by connecting you into your heart, like we talked about with Heather, the Bhakti, the path of the heart where your heart desire lives, where your dreams live, and get you on the direction on the path of sharing that which is in you with the world. Clearing any of those blocks that keep you from trusting yourself, that keep you from just being freely, fully expressed and embodied, okay? If you're interested in hearing more about that and you want to see if it's right for you, go ahead and send me an email. You can go to my website too and hear more about it. All that will be in the description below. I can't wait for you to join. It's going to be really good and you're going to love it. If you feel called to, guaranteed you're going to love it. Okay, so come on in. For now, I will see you in the next episode. Sending you love. Bye.